Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to BJA's Student Teachers and Officers Preventing School Violence training session. My name is Kerwin Henderson, and I am the BJA TTA Specialist on our Planning, Performance, and Impact team. We are happy you have joined us today and are excited to present this presentation as you all prepare for your reporting. Today's session is being recorded and will be posted to the BJA's YouTube channel and multimedia page in the coming weeks. A PDF copy of today's slides were sent out earlier today and will also be distributed to you after today's presentation. If you run into any tech issues throughout the day today, please reach out to Langston Payne, our Webex system facilitator for today. I encourage you to send him a private message via the chat function, but his email address is also listed here. We also encourage you all to ask all STOP, JustGrants, and performance measurement related questions. However, please note that for today's session, we will only be taking questions directly from the Q&A panel. To submit a question, please use the Q&A panel by clicking on the tab labeled Q&A located on the far right side of the bottom Webex window and choose All Panelists as the recipient. If we are unable to answer your questions during the allotted time today, or if you need additional help after today's training, we can provide you with one-on-one assistance. We will provide contact information for our team at the end of today's presentation. Panelists will be using the chat box to share links and resources with you, so please make sure to only submit your questions in the Q&A panel. To give you a brief agenda for today, we will spend the first few minutes going over the roles of the BJA program team and will introduce you or reintroduce you to some of you to the BJA PPI team. I will then briefly explain the performance measurement process and its importance to grantees and to BJA. The JustGrants team will then cover navigation, FAQs, and STOP performance report submissions in the JustGrants system. Following the JustGrants team's presentation, we will then transition to an overview of the STOP program, including the reporting approach, reporting schedule, and data verification process. We will then wrap up today's session with a brief Q&A session. STOP grant managers are on the line with us today to help answer any questions you may have about the STOP program or STOP reporting. I will first go over the roles of the BJA team overseeing the STOP program. STOP grant managers are a part of the BJA programs office and are the first line of communication with grantees. Grant managers are responsible for reviewing and approving grantee reports and grant award modifications and processing grant closeouts. Your grant manager will address all questions regarding programmatic, financial, and administrative elements of your grant and communicate about the release of special conditions. The Planning, Performance, and Impact team, or PPI analyst team, on the other hand, provides performance measure development, solicitation reviews, analytical support, visualization and graphical support, and data quality assurance. If you have questions about your STOP performance measures, please reach out to the PPI team. Our contact information will be available at the end of today's presentation. I will now go over the PPI team in more depth. First, our management team is responsible for team leadership and client coordination and consists of a BJA program specialist, task lead, and deputy task lead. Our data analysis and performance measure review team is responsible for analyzing data and developing reports and developing and revising performance measures. Finally, the Training and Technical Assistance team, which includes me, develops and conducts training for grantees and federal staff and responds to grantee inquiries and requests for more focused assistance. I also want to bring your attention to our TTA, as we can respond to your individual inquiries and training needs related to performance management and measures. As a part of the PPI team's TTA, we are available to assist you with understanding your program's performance measures. The BJA PPI team is responsible for creating the performance measures that grantees are required to report. As a part of this responsibility, the BJA PMT Helpdesk and greater PPI team helps grantees by answering questions about performance measures, delivering wraparound training and technical assistance on data collection and analysis support to grantees and federal staff from program inception to closeout, assisting grantees with reporting requirements to ensure accurate data reporting, reviewing and cleaning data to support data integrity, performing analysis using grantee data to assist BJA staff in improving programs, including identifying opportunities for training and technical assistance, performing analysis using grantee data to answer inquiries from BJA, OJP, DOJ, researchers, media, Congress, and other stakeholders, and finally, developing products and reports to share program successes. Listed on the screen is the BJA PMT Helpdesk contact information. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, except for federal holidays. If you have any questions about your reporting, or if you would like to schedule a time to go over your staff performance measures, please reach out. Please feel free to reach out to the PPI team using the contact information listed on the screen. Our contact information will also be distributed following today's presentation. We strive to return every email within 24 hours, so please do not hesitate to send us an email even after business hours. The work you do as grantees is vitally important, so over the next few slides, I will explain performance measurement and briefly describe its importance to the work you do as grantees to BJA and beyond. Performance measurement is the process by which grantees regularly collect data on their grant activities to determine whether they are implementing activities as intended and achieving desired goals and objectives. That process helps to tell the story of you, the grantees, and your programs through data and assessment. Performance measures are used to capture inputs, outputs, and outcomes over time. Performance measures also allow for pre- and post-program implementation analysis that can be used to assess change as your program evolves. The performance measures for the STOP program can be found at the link shown on the screen and are included in your program solicitation. These measures may be updated throughout the life of your program. We will review the performance measures in depth later in today's presentation. Understanding the importance of performance measurement ensures strong program development. Performance measurement provides opportunities to improve existing programs and create ideas for new ones by showing raw outputs of program data. Performance measurement also allows you, as grantees in BJA, to answer the who, what, where, and when of your programs. For BJA, performance measures provide a holistic view of your programs to identify areas of success and potential opportunities for improvement. In addition, this information allows BJA to identify and create targeted training and technical assistance to help you as the grantee as you continue through the performance management process. Not only that, but collecting performance measures also helps the Department of Justice comply with the reporting requirements of federal law. This includes the Government Performance and Results Modernization Act of 2010, the Digital Accountability and Transparency Act of 2014, the Foundations for Evidence-Based Policymaking Act of 2018, and the Grant Reporting Efficiency and Agreements Transparency Act of 2019. Performance measurement provides a tremendous benefit to you as a grantee. It can help you proactively address challenges and generate evidence that you are meeting your goals and allows you to show the impacts of your program and organization. For STOP, BJA collects two types of data from grantees. The first type of data collected by BJA are your program performance measures. The performance measures for your program are a series of questions and measure outcomes of grant activities. The second type of data collected by BJA are narrative questions, which is a series of narrative response questions related to the grantee's specific goals, objectives, barriers, and successes. Responses to narrative questions are required twice a year. This is the reporting schedule for STOP. Performance reports and narrative questions must be reported semi-annually in January and July. Please note that in order to be in compliance with your program's reporting requirements, all performance reports must be complete and submitted prior to the reporting deadline. Reports not submitted on time are considered delinquent and can result in the grant funds being frozen. You will receive a notice for any reports not submitted by the reporting deadline. Please reach out to the JustGrants support team or your grant manager if you have questions about the report submission process or delinquent STOP performance reports. So, where should STOP grantees report? Briefly, STOP grantees complete performance reports in the JustGrants or JustGrants system. JustGrants is the online system required for grantee performance measurement reporting and grant management. I will now turn the presentation over to Bridget Melia, who will walk you through submitting performance reports in JustGrants. As a reminder, we will have a brief Q&A session after today's presentation to allow you to ask questions specifically related to reporting and navigating in JustGrants. Bridget?
Welcome to the Introduction to Performance Management. We are pleased to be able to discuss and demonstrate some of the features used in JustGrants. We are happy to have the opportunity to review some of the more important processes in JustGrants. We will begin with a refresher on entity management, and then we will talk about managing your performance measures using question sets when submitting performance reports. Finally, we will provide you links to additional information about JustGrants resources available to you. By the end of today's session, you will have a deeper understanding of the topics described in the agenda. As the entity administrator, you will understand how to assign users to awards, how to navigate through JustGrants, and to identify who gets what notifications in JustGrants. In addition, you will understand how to complete a performance measure report using a question set to enter performance measures. Finally, you will be familiar with the JustGrants website to be able to locate answers to your JustGrants questions and find training materials to guide you in using JustGrants. Once a user has registered and logged into JustGrants, their user account is active and they are ready to be assigned to awards. Work cannot begin on an award until the entity administrator has assigned a grant award administrator, a financial manager, and an authorized representative to the award, which is shown on the screen. Starting from the awards menu, the entity administrator will open the Show Hide Roles button at the top of the list and select the roles to display. Once applied, you will see a column for each role. Use whether a user is assigned to each of the roles for an award and who that user is. For instance, to assign someone to be the grant award administrator, the entity administrator will select the role at the bottom of the list. Once the role is selected, the Assign To drop-down menu will display all the users with the role in your organization. Select the user and then use the Assign button. The entity administrator can and should be sure that all awards have appropriate assignments. If someone is leaving the organization and their awards should be reassigned, the entity administrator can select multiple awards and reassign them at once. Once the entity administrator has onboarded all users and assigned roles, there will be continued tasks to manage, including checking periodically to be sure users have been assigned the roles they need, and verifying that correct users are assigned to the awards. Users will need to be assigned to each new award that is accepted every year. There are no automatic assignments of users to awards. Your SAM.gov account also plays a role in maintaining entity information. It must be updated on a yearly basis to maintain active status. If the SAM.gov status is not active, it can negatively impact JustGrants. We are often asked about notifications in JustGrants. Who receives notifications, when, and how are they delivered? In general, notifications are delivered by email automatically from JustGrants as needed. JustGrants sends email notifications to the appropriate roles when needed. This chart indicates when notifications are sent out and who will receive them. Email notifications are sent to the email address associated with the user record. For instance, when funding is awarded, an award notification is sent to the entity administrator, who can identify, register, and assign the authorized representative, financial manager, and grant award administrator, or GAA. Grant award modifications, or GAMs, generate notifications to the grant award administrator and the grant award administrator alternate if assigned. Notifications are sent out when a GAM is approved, change requested, or denied. Financial reports generate notifications to the financial manager when the report is due in 10 days, due today, if it is unable to be processed, or if the report is overdue. Additionally, task generate notifications to the appropriate people as indicated in the chart. Notice that there is no notification sent when performance reports are due. You will need to log into JustGrants and locate the performance report in your work list once it has been generated. There are some features of navigation in the funded award that are helpful in locating and editing information. We'll demonstrate how to open and edit a funded award. The work list section of the homepage is populated with the tasks assigned to you based on your assigned roles and awards. If you are a grant award administrator, you will see GAMs, performance reports, and awards that are ready to be closed out. You will see GAMs that have been change requested or are initiated/draft status, but you will not see submitted grant award modifications in your work list. If you are a financial manager, you will see federal financial reports that are waiting for you to submit. If you have both roles, you will see all the tasks based on the award to which you are assigned. Entity administrators will see tasks to assign users when a new award is made. This task must be completed on each award made. The prime recipient, or the entity that is the direct recipient of the stop award, can select the appropriate person for the different JustGrants roles. Although this is the case, internal controls and adequate oversight of the award by the prime is required by the uniform guidance. Therefore, the roles of the grant award administrator, financial manager, and authorized representative should be filled by an employee of the prime recipient, not a subrecipient or outside person. Once you open the funded award, you are presented with a list of current tasks and the assigned user for that task. If you are the assigned user, you will see a begin link associated with each task. You must click the begin link in order to edit a task. Grant award administrators will also be able to access programmatic tasks. Selecting begin on this line gives the grant award administrator the ability to edit all tasks associated with an award, including performance reports, grant award modifications, deliverables, and initiating closeout. To view all delinquent reports, log into JustGrants and view your work list located on your homepage. The funded award is divided into sections. The award package displays all the information sent from DOJ once funding was approved. The information is read-only for everyone. Open the award conditions section to view all conditions with which your organization agreed to comply. You can see each condition and whether you comply. In many cases, funding may be suspended or put on hold if you are not in compliance with award conditions. Work with your grant manager to determine what is needed to comply with an award condition if you are not clear. The award details section displays read-only information about the award. The award attachment section shows all files that have been attached by DOJ personnel. Each attachment is categorized with links. Allow you to open any file. The performance management section displays all performance reports from the beginning of the award until the current date. You can see your account balance in ASAP in the funding balance and availability section. If there are any holds or suspensions on your account, you'll be able to see them in this screen as well. All FFRs generated throughout the life of the award are listed in the Federal Financial Report section. You can open and view any report. Scams are both initiated and tracked in the Grant Award Modification section. Finally, if you need to close out your award prior to the end date, you can do that from the closeout section. Now let's take a look at how to submit a performance report using Question Set. This will be a new functionality for most of you. You can see that this table highlights generally quarterly, semi-annually, and annual calendar dates from performance reporting throughout the grant award lifecycle. This provides you with a general schedule for performance report frequency and their respective due dates. Performance reports appear on the work list for a grant award administrator assigned to the award. The best way to begin is to select the case link ID for the report you are planning to submit. The report will default to regular or to final, based on the reporting period of the report. Since the performance report is associated with a particular time period, you will not change this. If an award is being closed out early, you can change it to final. If you do not mean to do it, you can just press cancel. You may see two different ways to complete performance reports. In general, awards that were already being managed when JustGrants came online will need to have the performance progress report uploaded as an attachment. You can tell that you need to upload an attachment if the question set section is empty. Enter comments in the comments field. You will need to select save when finished. Scroll down and then select save. Otherwise, your words will not save. Upload the progress report from your computer using the attachment option. You can rename it as needed. Again, feel free to rename as needed. Be sure that the attachment category is not changed from the performance report. You can cancel this session and close without saving changes. Save the report to complete at a later time, or submit the report to your grant manager for review. So here you can press cancel at any time, and then submit. You can save for a later time or submit. And as you can see here, you will get confirmation that your step has been, that your report has been submitted. Next, you'll use the action menu to close the report. New awards in JustGrants will have an associated question set for the performance reporting. As time passes, you will see more of these types of performance reports and fewer types that require the progress report to be attached as a file. When you see a performance report with an associated question set, click the link for the question set to open the report. Again, just click the link. The question sets are associated with a solicitation and are visible to you from that point through the application and into the funded award. Performance reports are specific to a particular award and will vary between awards. What you see here is just one example. When you select the question set, it opens up in read-only mode. To answer the questions, you will need to begin to select the begin link at the top. Now you can see the questions are able to enter responses. Again, this is just one example of a performance report. You may see an entirely different question and question types. In the report, there are radio buttons that require a single answer. You also have questions that allow you to answer multiple questions. You can use the continue button at the bottom of the page to move forward a single page, or you can use the tab at the top to move forward. You must also find the answering one question will reveal additional questions to be answered. A red asterisk means that this is required for that question. In addition, you may find drop-down menu selections and calendar fields. Some of the fields may require a number, others may require an entry. You can also copy and paste entries from other documents into a text field if needed. And as you can see, there's the calendar drop-down. And these are the question sets, the multiple responses, open-ended text. Alrighty. Once submitted, you can see the performance report with your answer in read-only format. If you would like to save or print a copy, use the print option in the action menu and follow the steps to print. To return to the funded award, select close. In the funded award, open the action menu to refresh and to see the updated information. If you would like to reopen the report and edit your answers, you have the option to do that here. When you are ready, select the submit button. This will submit the performance report to your grant manager and ready for review. One of the ways that you can track the progress of your performance report is through the status code. If your performance report displays a new status, it has been generated and is waiting for you to fill it out and submit it. A delinquent report has not been submitted and has passed the due date for submission. It should be a priority to submit this report as it may affect your ability to draw down funds. If the status is pending review, you have submitted it and it is being reviewed by DOJ personnel. If your performance report has a rejected status, the reviewer has found one or more issues with the report. Open the report to see any comments that will guide you in correcting and resubmitting the report. An approved report is complete. It has been approved by DOJ and is resolved. There are several situations in which you may be asked to upload supporting documentation. Award deliverables are found in the performance management section of the funded award. Scroll down to the bottom of the page to view existing deliverables or attach a new deliverable. Typically, you will use the award deliverables feature to upload documents related to programmatic requirements such as flyers, timelines, and documentation that support your goals and objectives. We hope that you have gained insights from the material we presented today. Before we close, we would like to provide you with additional resources we have created to guide you through the process. You can find a library of resources on the JustGrants website. The links provided here are for training materials relevant to the topics we've discussed today. We encourage you to open and explore the JustGrants website after this session to find information on virtually every topic you may need. If you need to contact our technical support desk, send an email to justgrants.support@usdoj.gov. This will automatically open a support ticket for you, and one of our support staff will follow up with you. You can also call 833-872-5175, Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time on weekends or holidays. Some of the reasons you might contact our support desks are if your entity administrator is no longer with your organization and the role has not been reassigned prior to their departure, or if you have multiple JustGrants accounts using different IUs or DUNS numbers and you need to reassign applications or awards from one account to another, or you need to reinvite any entity administrator to one of your accounts. When using JustGrants, if you find the system is not working as intended, you can open a support ticket for assistance. We've talked a bit about the online site for training materials. This is what the JustGrants training website looks like. You can find a wealth of information about JustGrants at https://justicgrants.usdoj.gov/. We're going to focus on the training link today, but please take time to look through this website for all sorts of useful information. And once you open the training link, you will see a list of training topics displayed. It is a good idea to start with the Entity User Experience Guide, since it covers navigation in JustGrants and applies to everyone. The Entity Administrator will need to become very familiar with the Entity Management Guide. Once you've selected the topic to explore, you will open a page with training resources dedicated to that topic. Typically, you will find a job aid reference guide and links to step-by-step videos. These are short videos. They are meant to be used while you are working, so don't feel like you need to set aside a lot of time to view them. They can really help if you're in the middle of a task in JustGrants and just want to verify the next step. The Job Aid Reference Guide provides step-by-step instructions with screenshots to help walk you through a task. You can print these or view them on the screen, depending on how you would like to work. They are also a great reference tool if you are in the middle of a task and just want to verify the next step. Right now, we will turn it back over to Kerwin to get back to the presentation.
Thanks, Bridget. We'll now turn the presentation over to our PPI STOP analyst, Janine Babulia, to go over the STOP performance measures. So, Janine.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Kerwin. The next section we will be covering will be an overview of the STOP School Violence Questionnaire. In order to prepare for the data you will need to collect for the performance measurement reporting, you will need to review the STOP School Violence Performance Measure Questionnaire. You can find a copy of the Performance Measure Questionnaire at the link provided here on this slide right here. The data collection form will be populated in JustGrants under the Performance Report section, as Bridget just showed you. Please submit your data using the JustGrants data collection form. As a reminder, this presentation will be provided for your future reference, so no need to try to copy down this link right now. You will have it in this presentation. But before we get into the different sections of the questionnaire, I would like to share some history of the STOP program. BJA consolidated question sets that were originally created during fiscal year 2018 through fiscal year 2020 to help get a better understanding of the program. Furthermore, the legislation requires that NIJ provide input on performance measures. These revised measures were created in coordination with NIJ and the COPS office. BJA does not intend to change performance reporting requirements in the subsequent years. The FY 2022 version is the version that you should be completing. If you see any other versions, please contact your grant manager before moving forward. I will now be moving on to the questionnaire structure. The questionnaire is comprised of 8 sections: General Award Administration, Grant Activities, School Safety Plans, School Safety Assessment and Surveys, Training and Education to Prevent School Violence, Technology Systems, School Threat Assessments and Intervention Teams, and then there are 7 narrative questions. In the next few slides, I will review the questions in each of the sections and the skip functionalities. In some cases, grantees will not be prompted to answer every section. The General Award Administration section is comprised of 2 yes and no questions. The first question is this the last reporting period for which the award will have data to report? For example, all funds have been expended and the award is in the process of closing out in the JustGrants system. If you select yes, you will be directed to answer the questions in the final report section. These are one-time only questions that you will answer prior to the report closeout. The second question is, was there grant activity during the reporting period? This means there is grant activity when the grantee has obligated, expended, or drawn down grant funds to implement objectives proposed in the BJA-approved grant application. If yes to this question, the program becomes operational and should remain so until the grant closes out. If no, select reasons for why there was no grant activity from the drop-down list during the reporting period. You should select all that apply. The grant activity section prompts you to select all the categories for which you perform approved and budgeted grant activities during the grant reporting period. The first category is training to prevent student violence against others and self, including training for local law enforcement officers, school personnel, and students. The second category is the development and operation of anonymous reporting systems for threats of school violence, including mobile, telephone applications, hotlines, and websites. And finally, the third category is the development and deployment of school threat assessment intervention teams that include coordination with law enforcement agencies and school personnel, and or specialized training for school officials in responding to mental health crises. In the next slides, I will explain the skip functionality when you select each of these categories. If you select option 1, which is training to prevent student violence against others and self, including training for local law enforcement officers, school personnel, and students, you will be prompted to answer Section 3, which is School Safety Plan, Section 4, the School Safety Assessment and Surveys, Section 5, Training and Education to Prevent School Violence, and Section 8, which is the 7 narrative questions. You will automatically skip Sections 6 and 7. You do not have to go in and skip them. They will automatically be skipped for you in the system. If you select option 2, which is the development and operation of anonymous reporting systems for threats of school violence, including mobile telephone applications, hotlines, and websites, you will be prompted to answer Section 3, School Safety Plans, Section 4, School Safety Assessments and Surveys, Section 6, Technology Systems, and Section 8, the narrative questions. You will automatically skip Section 5 and 7. If you select option 3, which is the development and deployment of school threat assessment and intervention teams that include coordination with law enforcement agencies and school personnel and or specialized training for school officials in responding to mental health crises, you will be prompted to answer Section 3, School Safety Plans, Section 4, School Safety Assessments and Surveys, Section 7, School Threat Assessment and Intervention Teams, and Section 8, the narrative questions. You will automatically skip Section 5 and 6. If you choose Select All, you will be prompted to answer Sections 3, School Safety Plan, Section 4, School Safety Assessment and Survey, Section 5, Training and Education to Prevent School Violence, Section 6, Technology Systems, Section 7, School Threat Assessment and Intervention Teams, and finally, Section 8, the 7 narrative questions. So let's go into a little detail about the sections now. First, we have Section 3, which is the School Safety Plan section. This set of questions is about the development and implementation of school safety plans. School safety plans refer to decisions made based on scientific research. Responses in this section can include the 3 months before the start of the STOP grant program, so account for school safety plans developed in the preparation of the grant. If a school safety plan was developed or implemented more than 3 months prior to this grant or has not yet been developed or implemented, please answer no for question 4. If your program does not have a school safety plan, please answer no and explain when a school safety plan was last developed and implemented or why a school safety plan has not been developed and implemented. Please note that this section must be answered by all grantees. Next, we have the School Safety Assessment and Survey section. A school safety assessment is a strategic evaluation and facilities audit used to identify emerging and potential school safety problems. These activities identify practices and places that are overlooked due to a lack of understanding or an assumption that they are safe. During an assessment, key factors are examined to make sure their direct impact on the educational mission, student and staff safety, school climate, school attendance, and overall school security. Questions in this section require a numeric cumulative number. If you have an unknown or NA, not applicable value, please enter 9999. This section must be answered by all grantees. Next, we have the training and education to prevent school violence section. These set of questions are about the training and education given to school personnel and students regarding the prevention of school violence. A training is a program of instruction on a particular topic and or skill related to a specific operation. Trainings can be completed by individuals who can use the information or skill on their job or in a school environment, as well as trainers who provide instruction to others. This section only includes training on preventing student violence, including anti-bullying training and specialized training for school officials to respond to mental health crises. This section does not include training as it relates to threat assessments. This section should be completed if you selected option 1 in the grant activity section, which was training to prevent student violence against others and self, including training for local law enforcement officers, school personnel, and students. Next, we have the technology system section. This set of questions are about the development and operation of anonymous reporting systems for the threats of school violence, including mobile telephone applications, hotlines, and websites. Answer these questions based on all activities since the start of the grant program. This section should be completed if you selected option 2 in the grant activity section, which was the development and operation of anonymous reporting systems for threats of school violence, including mobile telephone applications, hotlines, and websites. The school's threat assessment and intervention team section has 10 questions. These set of questions are about the threat assessment and school intervention team. A threat assessment is a violence prevention strategy that involves identifying student threats to commit a violent act, determining the seriousness of a threat, and developing intervention plans that protect potential victims and address the underlying problem or conflict that stimulate the threatening behavior. Intervention teams focus on student mental health and the creation of local collaborative teams of educators, counselors, and law enforcement officers to address school safety, identify and interview students that may need help, and respond to threats. For this section, provide a cumulative total for the entire grant period. If an individual has been screened more than once, only report the first screening. This section should be completed if you selected option 3 in the grant activity section, which was the development and employment of school threat assessment and intervention teams that include coordination with law enforcement agencies and school personnel and or specialized training for school officials in responding to mental health crises. Finally, we have the narrative questions. In this section, you will identify the goals you hope to achieve with your funding. Once submitted, these goals cannot be changed without the approval of your grant manager. Set SMART goals to clarify the scope of your priorities. If you have multiple goals, provide updates on each one separately. This section must be completed by all grantees. So I just mentioned SMART goals. When responding to the narrative questions in JustGrants, you will need to identify the goals that you have for your program. Keep in mind the goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, also known as SMART. It is a good practice to review your goals based on a regular basis and reassess what you are doing and how you are doing them. Make sure to use data to describe how you are doing. You can also provide anecdotes that describe some of the good work you are doing. Here are a few examples of well-defined SMART goals that will set this program up for success. While the goals on the left are great goals, they are difficult to measure and not specific enough to measure success. The goals on the right are specific and can be supported by the data that you collect. As I'm coming to the end of my presentation, I have a few tips to help you be successful in submitting your performance measures. As we review the questions that has skip patterns built in, So if you see a question appear, it is required based on one of your previous responses. Numeric fields will require an entry. If you have an unknown or NA value, enter 9999. Also, do not forget to hit submit on your completed question set. Narrative questions allow for you to explain any of the data you have entered that may need more context. If you are unsure at any time on how to respond to a performance measure, contact the performance measurement tool, the PMT Helpdesk. We'd like to also share some tips to improve data quality that your program can do from the very beginning. It is recommended that a designated staff person coordinate all performance measure data collection and entry to ensure consistency. If this is the first time you will report data, make sure you're familiar with the data you will need to collect and report. Do this by reviewing the PDF version of the questionnaire. Ensure a backup person or persons are aware of the data collection and reporting process so they can fill in if the designated staff person is unavailable or leaves their role. Consider available data collection methods, including case management systems or other databases, spreadsheets, tracking intake forms, or other methods. If partner organizations are included in your program design, be sure to engage them from the very start in the planning process. Determine if formalized agreements are needed to ensure necessary data is collected and the program meets its goals and objectives. Now I'll turn it back over to Kerwin.
Thanks, Janine. Before beginning our Q&A session today, I want to first point out some of the resources we have available to assist you all as you report your grant activity. Specifically, the BJA Performance Measures website contains some foundational information about the performance reporting at BJA, contact information for the PMT Helpdesk and JustGrants support, and links to the JustGrants reporting system, as well as the BJA YouTube channel, links to the BJA YouTube channel, and the BJA multimedia page. Archive training on specific program performance measures and performance report submissions are saved to BJA's YouTube channel and linked on the BJA Performance Measures webpage. Additionally, you can find the contact information for BJA, including contact information for your grant manager. The next slide, we have our contact information. Again, for staff performance measure related questions, please reach out to the BJA PMT Helpdesk. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, except for federal holidays. We strive, once again, to return every email within 24 hours, so please do not hesitate to send us an email even after business hours.